from what you say. Now, but my first question is what got you interested in diversity, in working in diversity, equity, and inclusion?
More so, you know what? When you are in higher ed and you are working with different personalities
Mm-hmm.
and different individuals, in your practice of what you do, these are some of the things. And by the way, too, you see a lot of inequities
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. These are some of the things that basically got me more so interested in DEI work, but at the same time, too, I was mentored by some very, very good advocacy people in Chicago
Mm-hmm.
that looked at a tremendous amount of inequities that goes on in our society. And, I got involved from that perspective. But not only that, upon getting involved from that perspective, I took it into, my classroom because I taught sociology
Mm-hmm.
and I taught public policy, you see. And a lot of those disciplines goes hand in hand. So I took a lot of that into the classroom and I began to study and read and go to seminars and so forth. And so, in fact, what difference can I make as an individual, as a person, And, it just spawned on me. And I started taking courses in it. I started doing seminars, and listening to people and how they choose to do what they do to make this DEI work. You know what I mean? Because DEI is all about assessing, and advancing, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it was just something that just came to me, and I just been doing it ever since.
Wow.
So I am always staying in tune with seminars and the new breed of models
Mm-hmm.
that comes up, the mechanism that comes up that can keep me sharp in what I do.
Wow. So when I said diversity, what comes to mind?
Differences?
Mm-hmm.
It's differences, by and large differences. One of the things that I suggested to the fabric of Fargo when I came here is that race is a social construct. And being is that race is a social construct, meaning in fact is that we all agree somewhat is that we are more the same than different. But at the same time, too, what the literature suggests is that when you have differences in your organizations, when you have differences in your group, when you have differences in your institution, meaning in fact is that goes into inclusiveness and different ideas, the profit margins and certain things that happens in our society goes upward.
Wow.
Because we have these differences that we can perpetuate on various situations and circumstances.
Mm-hmm. Wow, wonderful. So I'm curious, define what you do in your role today?
Well, the short answer is that I wear many hats.
Okay, elaborate a little bit.
I wear many hats as being the diversity, equity, and inclusion person for the city of Fargo.
Okay.
I do have a job description.
Mm-hmm.
However, I wear many hats.
Okay.
So if the mayor says to me, Dr. Hogan, I need for you to do this, that, or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it may or may not be in my job description, but I do it because he knows that I can do it.
Okay.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
But my job holistically is all about, number one, assessing and advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the city of Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
My job is about assessing and advancing initiatives in regards to diversity, equity, and inclusion in the city of Fargo. But more importantly, my job is about education.
Yes.
The internal and the external, and also the stakeholders here in this beautiful city. Because one thing that, I realize is that DEI work is a new model, a new occupation for Fargo. And from my understanding, I am the first DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion person in the city of Fargo. And I'll take that title.
Mhm.
But my work in general is just my work in general, you know? And with that being said, I found myself more so educating the fabric than doing anything else. Because my view and my philosophy is that when people are educated on what they feel that they are uncomfortable with, once you educate them, they feel more comfortable in speaking with you and voicing their concerns. It's telling you the do's and the don't and the mechanisms of that city. So, that's my whole philosophy when it comes down to being here in Fargo is education, 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 and more education.
Wow, wonderful. As the first city's director
Mhm.
of DEI, does that make the job more difficult, or
Well,
does?
here's the thing.